we see how the action of the terrorists is going to be. They begin to attack, communities because of what just happened in retaliation, or to show the U.S. government that they are still very much, around. But you know that with this kind of bombing, most of their fighters will be decimated. All right. So which means they will not have that kind of, capacity that they have before the bombing took place. So they need to do recruitment, and that is where parents should watch out for their kids and make sure they are not radicalized into that kind of operation. And again, I would advise that everyone should try as much as you can to avoid crowded areas, because the little few of them that may still be alive today will begin to target, crowded areas where they can attack, do suicide bombing and stuff like that, just to send a message that they are not yet fully obliterated, that they are still available. So anywhere you are, watch your six, check what is going on around you. Any suspicious movement, please say something. Don't forget, when you see something, you say something. Always be observant. Don't be too focused on your mobile phone and stuff like that, so that you can observe what is going on around you. Because I believe you me, the way they operate, they're still going to come out to send a message to the U.S. government that they are still very much alive. The military should also watch their six, because with this thing that happened, their sympathizers inside the military will leak information, definitely, so that they will attack the military to show that they are still active. Hello, my people. Welcome to my channel. This is Andy Media TV. Well, as you may be aware, that the United States government, under the leadership of President Donald J. Trump, has, given a Christmas gift to Nigerian people. And this gift is all about the airstrike that hit the state of Sokoto in northwestern Nigeria. So, and this airstrike was targeted on, the ISIS cell, where the Islamic State, have, their cells. So you recall that, some few months ago, that the United States government, issued a tweet asking the Nigerian government to take proactive, action against all these, terrorists that, specifically target Christians, as the case may be. And he mentioned it that there is a Christian genocide. And, when that, tweet came out, there was quite a whole lot of, reactions, coming from, especially, government officials trying to, dissuade the claim stating that there is no Christian genocide, that, however, both the Christians and Muslims are being killed. So they've spent a lot of, money and time trying to portray, that image that's nothing like Christian genocide. And surprisingly, you even see, some, men of God who are coming out, to say, oh, there's no Christian genocide. But the president, was a man that when he says something, he do something. He doesn't just say things. He says things that he's willing to, do. So, and I recall him making a video then, telling the Nigerian government that this is their best opportunity, to work with the United States government to be able to get rid of these monsters who have been terrorizing the country, because the Islamic terrorists, they also dovetail into banditry, into kidnapping, so many, crimes that they commit in the country. And during those periods, it was evident that even the government officials are hobnobbing with these, terrorists and bandits, that they call them for meeting, negotiate with them. You can see what happened in the latest kidnap of, church members in Kwara State, and also school children. They were just released. And, the special assistant of the president on media and communication said that they called the bandits and the bandits released the kids. No arrest was made. Nobody was prosecuted, nothing. So that shows you the relationship between these bandits and the government. However, they, tried all they could to kind of portray a good image that the country is doing something, or that the country is, working towards eliminating these terrorists. But I think along the line, there was a delegation from the United States, because a committee was set up in the United States, to liaise with the Nigerian government to be able to fashion out the best way to approach, this issue. So the delegate came to Nigeria, visited some states like Benue, and they saw things first class. They saw people who are displaced from their homes. They saw them, in the IDP camps and stuff like that. So the information they have, they already have information. Don't forget that the intelligence already provided them information on what goes on in Nigeria. And those that came in physically, they also saw with their own eyes how people are suffering in the IDP camps. And they went back to the United States, and were able to provide their report. And it is their report, definitely, that will have triggered the president to take this action that happened on the 25th of December, 2025. So the Mr. President, according to his tweet, directed the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, for them to take military action in collaboration with the Nigerian government. And this action took place on the 25th of December, 2025, when most Nigerians are sleeping. There was rain of bombs in the southern, Nigerian state, Sokoto, where this event took place. And from what we saw, we saw the citizens, coming out to pick the debris and mentioning that there's no civilian casualty in that airstrike. So which shows that, according to United States President tweet, he made it clear that it was a precision strike. And don't forget his earlier tweet that when they come into Nigeria, that their action is going to be sweet, vicious, and precise. And that's exactly what they did. It was a precise strike to the cells of these ISIS cells. So guys, there's a lot more to talk about, but before I go into the details of other things that is attached to this video, if you are new to my channel, please kindly like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and put on the notification bell so that when my next new video drop, you'll be among those that will be notified. All right, so I think for you to understand clearly what happened, because there has been a lot of narratives coming out, especially from some of our northern brothers who are kind of trying to pinch it that they are killing the Muslim, or pinch it that they don't want the United States, that they are kind of bridging our territorial integrities and what have you. So a lot of narratives has been coming up. You see people tweeting all kinds of stuff, but some of them are even claiming that the Nigerian government is not even aware that these guys came in the night and be able to do the airstrike. But it's not even an airstrike done by attack helicopters. It's an airstrike done by the Tomahawk, the machine, the war equipment that they use, launch, the airstrike from far away, the Gulf of Guinea, and they hit the precise location. So guys, for us to clear all this down, let's take a look on this video, compilation by, Arise News, and then we'll come back to, finish up on that. So let's watch this video and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
With the nation reacting to the multiple surprise Christmas Day strikes launched in what has been described as a joint operation between the United States and Nigeria against the Islamic State in the northwestern state of Sokoto. The attack was announced in a series of messages, statements, and videos released overnight from both governments on Thursday, which began with a post from U.S. President Donald Trump on his Truth Social profile, in which he stated that the attack came at his direction as Commander-in-Chief. And I'll read Trump's statement. He wrote, "Tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight, there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorists to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continue." And this was a very powerful message from Donald Trump. Yesterday, we were all sleeping when this message came out. Well, here is a footage from the operation showing what officials describe as a divisive strike against the terror group on Christmas night. Well, U.S. authorities have warned that further strikes will follow if the violence against Christians continues. But, this message was, gathered a lot of mixed reactions. A lot of Nigerians, didn't really understand whether or not the strike came at the order of the U.S. president, like he has written, or as a joint operation, which we have seen from the Nigerian government. And I'll take this tweet from Characteristics, who wrote, "I am almost convinced that the response from Nigeria's foreign affairs was an afterthought. Clearly, the United States cannot be restrained from eliminating notorious terrorists. President Trump's statement did not suggest that the operation was carried out in collaboration with the Nigerian government. His words were explicit. At my direction as Commander-in-Chief, not in partnership with Nigeria. Let's even assume, without conceding, that the Nigerian government was aware of the operation. Why then did the statement not come directly from the president himself, using the same authoritative language? At my directive, as Commander-in-Chief, I be president, they sleep. Sleep where he no sleep when INEC declare him president at 3 a.m. I strongly doubt that the Nigerian government was aware of the timing of the targeted strike. The public should not be deceived by after-the-fact statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What we are witnessing looks more like reactive diplomacy than proactive security leadership. And I'm reading this tweet because this is the minds of a lot of Nigerians who rightly believe that this might not be a joint, attack. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth confirmed the launch in a post on X, thanking the Nigerian government for cooperating with the United States on the attack. And here is Pete's tweet. He wrote, "The president was clear last month. The killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and elsewhere must end. At the Department of War is always ready. So ISIS found out tonight on Christmas. More to come. Grateful for Nigerian government support and cooperation. Merry Christmas." Even AFCOM released a statement, and I'll read that. They wrote, "At the direction of the President of the United States and Secretary of War, and in coordination with Nigerian authorities, U.S. Africa Command conducted strikes against ISIS terrorists in Nigeria on December 25th, 2025 in Sokoto State." Another confirmation there. Also, the Nigerian military has also confirmed conducting the precision strikes against ISIS elements in northwest Nigeria. In a statement released today, the Director of Defense Information, Major General Samilia Uba, said the operation was a joint effort between the armed forces of Nigeria and the United States, adding that the strikes were approved by federal government authorities and followed credible intelligence aimed at degrading the terrorist group's capability. Well, in the same statement, the Nigerian army reiterated its commitment to restoring peace and security across Nigeria. Finally, on ground in Jabo village of Sokoto State, a new video showing the debris from the aftermath of the missile launch on the terrorists has made the rounds on social media. Let's take a look.
We just want to say there is something wrong here. Please, wait. That's the actual thing that is happening in Jabo town now.
All right, that's a reaction on ground. The villagers have said that there was no casualty in this incident. However, this video highlights the human impact of these attacks and how ordinary citizens often have to deal with the consequences of the aftermath.
Welcome back. So you saw, a lot of, information coming out where the U.S. AFRICOM, that's African Command, who are responsible for all this coordination, made it clear that the attack was in collaboration with the Nigerian government. You saw the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, also saying that the attack was in collaboration with the Nigerian government. So those who are claiming that the Nigerian government is not even aware when the airstrike took place, they can see the confirmation from the United States, and the Nigerian government have also, said that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, also explained how he was able to, have a phone conversation with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, in the United States before the airstrike, commenced. So all these things are there. I'm going to play that video towards the end of this analysis. So you wait for that. So you hear from the Minister of Foreign Affairs himself clarifying that it was a joint operation. It was a joint collaboration between the Nigerian government and the United States government. So, guys, the main issue here is this. Nigerian people are used to having, president that are, will I use the word docile, president that just tweet or say on something and does nothing. That's the people that are used to. So, when this airstrike happened, it took everybody by surprise because they think that the United States president is just bluffing. They think he's just, making threats, but they don't understand. I recall, is it really more, one of the, team members of the delegation, that visited Nigeria told them earlier that don't joke with President Trump. Whatever he says, he's going to do that. And I also made that statement in my video that when you F around, you find out. That's F-A-F-O. So that's what it is. So now you can see, and I gave instances in my video then that you saw what happened to Iran. President of the United States told them clearly, you cannot have nuclear weapon. And the reason is very clear, because of their linkages with terrorism. So that's why they told them they can't have it, because if they do, they will use it to wipe out a whole lot of countries, as the case may be. So that is why they insisted that Iran cannot have access to nuclear power. And they thought it was a joke. Before you know it, in the middle of the night, they sent in the B-2 bombers and they took out the the Iranian nuclear site, and that was it. They decimated the place just swiftly and very precise and clean. They went in, came out, nobody even knew when it happened. They only had sound. That was one aspect. You can see what is going on between the U.S. government and Venezuela, right? You can see the attack on any boat carrying drugs on the sea, right? You saw what they do. They strike the boat and decimate the boat and the drugs. So, guys, the president doesn't mess around. What he says is what he does. So the point remains that I'm just giving all these instances to let you know that the president doesn't just mess around. All right? So whatever he said, he does that. And he has said that they are going to come back if these guys continue to do what they are doing. So this one is just like a warning strike that they launched far away to hit the target. So maybe the next that they will come may not just be launching from outside the shores of Nigeria. We may be even engaging, attack helicopters or using drone strikes or even, putting the military on the ground. Nobody knows. But this is just to let them know that he's not messing around, that he means what he said. And I'm glad that the Nigerian government, collaborated with, the U.S. authorities for this strike to happen, because these guys have been terrorizing the country. They have been decimating communities, taking over communities, pushing people to, IDPs. And that is what it is. That's the truth. That's why the delegation that came, they saw many of them in Benue State. They saw them physically. So this is not an issue that is made up. Millions of Nigerians are in IDPs in their own countries. And that is quite sad. And the Nigerian government, have been kind of obnobbing with these guys to the point that they're going to host them on meetings. They come with all their arsenals, their weapons, their guns, bullets, and their bikes. And they attend meeting with the government. And even when they kidnap people, the government have to go and beg and beg and beg for them to release them, make promises which they don't keep. Some of the bandits have been saying that they make promises they don't keep. These are part of the reasons why many Nigerians are happy that the U.S. government did this strike. Okay, so but we are yet to even know the number of casualties, but at least the members of the community have come to make it clear that there was no collateral damage as per killing any civilian that is not part of the terrorist group. So that's a good news on that part, which means, like the US said, that they're going to be precise on their target. So I know that before this target, they have kind of launched a lot of surveillance, sending drones to monitor and locate all those their hideouts and map them out and all those stuff. So when they hit the right target. So now with this bombing that took place, it's obvious that most of these terrorists gonna kind of relocate, move from one position to another. But don't forget that satellite is above them, watching what they are doing, watching their movement, and the U.S. authorities will be tracking them at any point, anywhere they move. They know their location, so they're gonna hit them hard in the next one. So this is just like a warning strike, so which I think is gonna be a lesson to them, so that they can be able to rethink their actions to Nigerian citizens. So that's what it is. So many Nigerians have been expressing their joy, appreciating the U.S. authorities for what they did. So, but now the issue is that some people have said that, Nigeria, territorial integrity is being violated, this, that. But the fact is that the U.S. cannot just come into Nigeria and strike without, collaboration with the Nigerian authority, which has been established with, different statements that have come out from the Secretary of War, from the U.S. AFRICOM, African Command is AFRICOM, and even from the Nigerian government. So that argument or that misconception has been laid to rest. So there's nothing like they just came in and did the turn. No, they have series of meetings with Nigerian government. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Nigeria, Yusuf Tugar, acknowledged in his interview with Channel Television that he had a phone conversation with Secretary of State in the United States, Marco Rubio, prior to the attack. And even before the bombing started landing, they also have another, second phone conversation. So that means a lot of clearances, were made. And he was asked to, speak with the president to convince him for the airstrike to commence. And probably he did his job and got the president nod, and that was it. So anybody laying claim that they just came into Nigeria and, roll out bomb, that's a false news. And even if you look at President Tinubu's tweet, for the Christians message, you can see where he was talking about, he has to protect Christians, he must do whatever in his power to. So telling you that there's a linkage between what happened on 25th December and that tweet. So that's to make it clear. Then outside that, you see people like Gumi, telling Nigerian government to disconnect from the U.S., not to, continue that kind of collaboration because his boys have been hit. That's it. So he's one of the people that goes to the forest, have conversation with the bandits and kidnappers and all that, and negotiate on their behalf. Go and check the newspapers, even during Buhari's administration. He's there. He's so sympathetic to them. So when this bomb started raining, he knew that the end to these guys has come to be. So, and one funny thing is this. What the US government did was just a strike, right? Is it that Nigerian government cannot on their own perform this coordinated airstrike on these ISIS locations? I don't know. Because if the US has brought in their soldiers on ground, for example, and then they're the ones that is attacking these people and all that, maybe it would have been something. Because I'm still wondering if what the US government just did, this warning strike, is just to launch a missile to the cells, locations and cells of this ISIS group, the terrorist group. Is it that the Nigerian government cannot be able to launch, not necessarily with the same kind of equipment that the US use? No, but we have attack helicopters, we have fighter jets who can be on the air and launch these bombs to those locations. So why is it that the Nigerian government cannot on their own launch these precise airstrikes to these cells, terrorist cells? Why? Because I'm still wondering. So I don't know, but because the Nigerian government is supposed to have the capability to be able to do that. That's why we have different fighter jets. That's why we have attack helicopters that launches bomb and fires sporadically as well. So that's why we have some of these launchers who can do this. But why wait until the US government come into the picture? That is what I don't understand. But I think that the presence of the US government brings that motivation, or brings that kind of pressure that make them to wake up to do what is right. So I think that's basically the main thing, not necessarily the airstrike, as the case may be. So, and it's a welcome development. I keep saying it that Nigeria need help. So help is not necessarily America selling you equipment, selling you weapons and all those things. This, what they just did, is part of the help. It's part of support. All right, what you don't have, they have. They can use it and help you to do those assignments. They just need your nod, just to give them heads up to go, and then they get it done. So that's what it is. And as far as I know, all those terrorist group and enclave in the northern Nigeria and southern Nigeria, like the herdsmen, the so-called herdsmen, the bandits, the kidnappers that push gun in people's head in the bush, asking them to request ransom from their families, they will be the next. So that is the point. So wherever they are in the forest, they will be located and fished out, and they will be decimated, because Trump is good at decimating things like this. If you go to Iran and ask them about their nuclear site, they will tell you it was obliterated. So that's the way you're going to deal with this situation. So, well, I think many Nigerians have expressed their gratitude to the US government for coming in to intervene, whichever way and form. And that's what they expect. They want a peaceful Christmas. Before, during Christmas, it's always bombing in one church and stuff like that. That's what you see in those days. But I think things are getting a little bit better, as the case may be. When you look at what is going on, the next airstrike that's coming, it's going to be something different. They're going to hit different locations at the same time. That's what you're going to see. So it's the time for these guys to lay down their arms and go and look for what to do with their lives, especially these bandits and kidnappers who terrorize families, kidnap their loved ones, and request for ransom. So my point is, they are even the worst nightmare of Nigerians than even the men ISIS and the ISWAP people. So for now, these bandits that kidnaps, ask for ransom, right, that terrorize people traveling on the road, they are even the worst nightmare of Nigerians presently. So now that they are decimating this group, I hope that this attack will also move to this group of kidnappers, all right, in Zamfara, in Plateau, those people killing the communities. And so that's the kind of thing we are trying to see in the future, because the way the president said it, and that if they don't stop, that the next one will be even worse than what they see. And they also wish them a Merry Christmas, including the dead terrorists. He said he's wishing them a Merry Christmas. Trump is a comic person, is someone that, cracks a lot of jokes. So that tweet made me laugh when I read it, especially when he told them Merry Christmas even to the dead terrorists. So I laughed, and I felt like he has sent them to their Mecca. So I don't know, this action is not an issue of whether you're Christian or Muslim. It's an issue of dealing with those who are terrorizing the country. Whether you're a Christian in that group or Muslim in that group, you're a target. That is the point. So Nigeria need to be peaceful. At least if they are going through hardship, they will go through the hardship in a peaceful manner. All those people talking about our, our sovereignty, territorial integrity and stuff like that. Nigeria has given, the US the not to come in to attack, this terrorists. So there's nothing like sovereignty here. There's an approval for them to come in. So if you're talking about sovereignty, the people that have that sovereignty said, please come and help us, and that's it. So there's nothing to, kind of about mouth what just happened. The Nigerian government is aware that this thing is going to happen. They are in partnership with that. were a coordination, that took place at that time. So those of them that are afraid, oh, they're going to take the oil, they're going to do they were not even in the country. Those rockets, those missiles were launched from a long distance into the country. So it is what it is. So guys, I don't know what you think concerning this airstrike and what is coming ahead, because there is still another threat. The phase 2 is when they don't repent and lay down their arm and stop, attacking, Nigerians, especially Christians, that the U.S. is going to come back for the next phase. So that next phase is going to be more vicious than what you saw today, all right? Because it means they are not daring, the United States government and their partnership with Nigeria. So it's going to be more vicious for them. So guys, I don't know if these guys should listen to the words of wisdom and be able to leave the shores of Nigeria completely. Otherwise, it's going to be worse for them. That's what it is. It's a Merry Christmas package from the United States to Nigeria. And I think we see how the action of the terrorists is going to be. Will they begin to launch fresh attacks? Will they begin to attack, communities because of what just happened in retaliation, or to show the U.S. government that they are still very much, around? But you know that with this kind of bombing, most of their fighters will be decimated, all right? So which means they will not have that kind of, capacity that they had before the bombing took place. So they need to do recruitment, and that is where parents should watch out for their kids and make sure they are not radicalized into that kind of operation. And again, I would advise that everyone should try as much as you can to avoid crowded areas, because the little few of them that may still be alive today will begin to target, crowded areas where they can attack, launch bombing and stuff like that. Come and do suicide bombing and stuff like that, just to send a message that they are not yet fully obliterated, that they are still available. So anywhere you are, watch your six, check what is going on around you. Any suspicious movement, please say something. Don't forget, when you see something, you say something. So anywhere you are, in a club, in a marketplace, in a church place, in a community setting where there is an event and stuff like that, always be observant. Don't be too focused on your mobile phone and stuff like that, so that you can observe what is going on around you. Because I believe you me, the way they operate, they're still going to come out to send a message to the U.S. government that they are still very much alive. So there's no way they will decimate all of them, definitely, because they have different cells, right? So the remaining ones will still come out to, do something that will draw attention and be kind of a global, headline on the news. So watch where you go, watch the group, you find yourself, any event, be careful, watch your back, watch your six and stuff like that. So that would be my advice for you, because their manpower has diminished. So definitely they're gonna, try to resort to bombing. That's what I think. And also the military should also watch their six, because with this thing that happened, their sympathizers inside the military will leak information, definitely, so that they will attack the military to show that they are still active. That's what it is. There must be something they will do to show that they are still active, in terms of trying to, will I say, mock the U.S. government for the, attack that just happened. So that is why I'm, raising these concerns, because if you study how these people operate, you know that they operate, to instill fear in people. And once they do that, then they will take the next step. So the military should watch it and know those who are sympathetic to them that leaks information of attack plan and movement of the military, because they will start laying ambush just to send a message that they are not dead yet. So that's what it is. So I think it's very important for the defense minister, to look into all this, and the chief of defense staff, air staff, naval staff, and what have you. You sit down and look again in your operations, how the information of your movement is managed is very critical, because the military may be, the one they may easily target, so that's it. And, on a final note, I don't know how, the terrorist guy is going to take it, but I know that they're going to, those of them that are still remaining is going to do something, cynical. So, fellow Nigerians, I will advise you guys to always be careful, at this period, especially now that it's festive time. People gather for different things, traditional marriage, wedding, and stuff like that. So watch your back. That's my advice for everyone. You enter a bus, watch it. You see suspicious movement, raise alarm. There's no harm in trying to, check what's going on. And those transport companies check every bag to be sure there's no explosives and stuff like that. So that's what it is. So security is everybody's business. So don't be complacent and say, oh, the U.S. is attacking them and you go to bed and sleep. No, you have to be very sensitive and active, because security is everybody's business. All right. On that note, I'm going to let this slide here. And before I leave, I'm going to, leave you a short clip of where, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, confirmed that these actions, that the U.S. took, bombing the terrorist hideouts and stuff like that, was in coordination and in collaboration with the Nigerian government. So you hear from him directly. so that we let those who are arguing that Nigeria was not even aware when the bombing took place. So you hear from him directly. So that video will end, this video. But before I leave, please kindly share your comment in the comment section, and also like and share this video if you are new to this channel, and also subscribe to my channel and put on the notification bell so that when my next new video drop, you'll be among those that will be notified. All right, so I'll leave you with this video that ends this production. So I will see you in my next video. As you watch this video, I'm signing out.
Honorable Minister, we have seen the comments from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but of course Nigerians woke up to that information that some strikes have been carried out by the United States, but we also did see commenting it was in cooperation, collaboration, and permission of Nigeria. So could you, maybe as you give us the background, could you tell us what is the nature of Nigeria's involvement or cooperation in this matter?
Nigeria has remained consistent in its approach, which is, like the statement says, to work with all partners that are committed to the fight against terrorism, irrespective of what religion, who the victims are, whether they are Muslims or Christians, and irrespective of what type of terrorism, be it terrorism being carried out in the name of one religion or the other, or indeed even banditry. So this is an ongoing process. We have been working closely with the Americans. This is what we've always been hoping for, to work with the Americans, work with other countries to combat terrorism, to stop the death of innocent Nigerians. So this is a vindication of the Tinubu administration. For those who thought that there was some foot dragging, or the government wasn't doing enough, it is a clear indication that we are committed and we are prepared to work with all comers.
Okay, so we understand that there was some reconnaissance done before the strikes. Were we also involved in that, and how so?
It's Nigeria that provided the intelligence. I was on the phone yesterday for 19 minutes with Secretary of State Marco Rubio of the United States. We spoke extensively, and we agreed that I was going to speak with President Tinubu, for President Tinubu to give the go-ahead. And I did speak with him, and it was agreed also that the statements that would follow would be statements that will show clearly that it is a strike against terrorism, and that it is part of the ongoing joint operations between Nigeria and collaboration between Nigeria and the United States, and that it is not to do with religion, it's to do with protecting Nigerians and innocent lives of either Nigerians or non-Nigerians. This was clear. We spoke twice. We spoke for 19 minutes before the strike, and then we spoke again for another 5 minutes before it went on.
Okay, I know you said we provided intelligence, but we saw some articles that said that, is it AFRICOM also were flying from Ghana over Nigeria for some recce or recon assignments. So was our Air Force involved, or that didn't happen? What can you tell us about that?
It is a collaborative effort. Let's not get bogged down on the operational details, and I would certainly not want to give away too much that could jeopardize any future actions by Nigeria. So let us keep the discussion to diplomacy, which is my own area, and to foreign policy. With regards to operational details, I think you're going to have to engage with the security agencies or the military.
Honourable Minister, many people have been looking at this particular strike since it happened, and some divided really on two basic thought processes. On one side, we have people who are saying, oh wait, was our sovereignty as a country infiltrated? I would like you to speak to that. And then for the others who are describing this strike as the best Christmas gift ever given to the Nigerian people, considering that our brothers, our Muslim brothers, were killed in the mosque in Borno State as well, which also brought up the conversation about how this terrorism doesn't care what your surname is or what your religion is. It's killing Christians and killing Muslims as well. Could you speak to both issues? One, the issue of our sovereignty, so that people can understand what has happened, and then secondly, to talk about how this is an ongoing situation to help quell the terrorism that we're facing in this country.
Never worry about your phone running out of battery when you're out and about. The secret is this compact device. Have you noticed that wealthy people in Shanghai never...
You can be rest assured that President Tinubu and his administration would not agree to, acquiesce to, or take any actions that would violate the sovereignty or territorial integrity of Nigeria. It's a collaborative effort. It is what we have been calling for when we even allude to the Leahy laws that stopped the sale of military equipment, both kinetic and non-kinetic, to Nigeria, which in part has affected the ability of Nigeria to respond to some of these threats, both domestically as well as within the region. So now that the U.S. is cooperating with us, we will do it jointly, and we will ensure, just as the president emphasized yesterday before he gave the go-ahead, that it must be made clear, even the framing of what comes after it must be made clear that it is a joint operation and it is not targeting any religion, nor is it simply in the name of one religion or the other. We are a multi-religious country, and we are working with partners like the U.S. To fight terrorism and safeguard the lives and property of Nigerians.
Honorable Minister, some people would want to find out, is this an ongoing operation? Are we going to be seeing more strikes like this one?
Well, I believe, like I said, it's an ongoing thing, and we're working with the U.S., we're working with other countries as well. So for all those that are prepared to work with us to combat terrorism, to ensure security in our region, in Nigeria itself, we're ready to cooperate. We're ready to collaborate. So this is something, that has remained the same. Put it this way, you can call it a new phase of an old conflict. For us, it's something that's been ongoing. So we focus on that.